So last week we made a video regarding some important changes that came into effect from 1st of July 2022 that impacted international students. But in this week we have some further updates that we wanted to cover. So in this video we are going to cover 3 major updates for international students. So let's not waste a single minute and go straight to the topic. So the first major news is in regards to the COVID-19 vaccination requirements. So this came up as the major news of the week, which is that international travelers can now enter into Australia without declaring their vaccination status. Yes, you have heard that right, that Australia, one of the toughest countries when it comes to the COVID-19 border closures, has now completely scrapped the vaccination requirements for international travelers, which effectively means that anyone can enter into Australia without declaring their vaccination status. So for those international students who are unvaccinated and have been waiting since the border opening, can now come into Australia. It is such a relief for those students. Now obviously unvaccinated Australians were allowed to return in the previous times, but now the vaccination requirements has been completely scrapped for all international travelers regardless of their visa status. So this change has already came into effect from 6th of July 2022 from 12:01 am. Please keep in mind that you are still required to wear masks on your domestic and international flights. Although some of you might be aware as well that there is no mask wearing requirements at Australian airports. So as soon as you land in Australia, you can remove your masks even in the airport terminal. But at the moment, you still need to wear your masks during the flight time. Now the second major update is in regards to one of the most painful acts that many people had to go through since the border opening, and that is DPD, also known as Digital Passenger Declaration. So the news update is that DPD has been scrapped as well along with the COVID-19 vaccination requirements. From 6th of July 2022 as well, you are not required to complete Digital Passenger Declaration. Whew. Thank God for that. And I'm speaking from my personal experience as well that it was such a painful act. Sometimes the app wasn't working. Sometimes you have just completed the whole thing and you will get an email that your DPD is still incomplete. And there were so many bugs and issues with that app. And the videos we had about DPD had ton of comments where people were complaining and reporting the issues they were facing during completing of this app. But luckily you're not required to complete that form anymore. Although the Australian government has mentioned that the DPD might come back in some sort of other format in the future, which will effectively replace our incoming passenger cards. So those incoming passenger cards that we usually need to complete when arriving to Australia will be completely online, but we don't know when will that be. Hopefully by that time they would have ironed out all the issues that were there in that DPD form. Now if you are coming to Australia and want to know how to complete your incoming passenger card, I highly recommend you to watch one of our previous videos. Here we have provided enough details for you to complete this incoming passenger card. Now the third major update is in regards to the visa processing times. Now some of you might have watched one of our previous videos as well, where we talked about the global visa processing times for the international students and the reasons behind the delays that we are facing at the moment for getting our visas. If you really want to know the reasons and some tips as well, I highly recommend you to watch that video if you haven't already. But in long story short, the Department of Home Affairs has been struggling to keep up with the applications they are receiving for Australian visas. That obviously includes student visas. Now there is an update regarding that as well, and we are expecting faster processing of student visas soon. As you know, there is a change in Australian federal government and the new government is committing themselves to clear up the backlog of these visa applications. So the Australian Prime Minister has announced that clearing up the backlog of these visas is a priority for his government. And in one of the recent meetings of Department of Home Affairs with educational consultants, the Department of Home Affairs has admitted that the visa processing was currently slower than pre-COVID levels. But the good news is that the new government is providing the funding required to clear up this backlog, which means the department can now hire more people and can offer overtime to their existing staff members. and in the same meeting with educational consultants and Department of Home Affairs that before they phase out unlimited work hours for international students, there will be a proper consultation with all the stakeholders involved. So it is good to hear that the Department of Home Affairs will not suddenly end these unlimited work hour rights. They will have a proper consultation before pulling the pin on these work rights. And again, if there's any update on that, we'll keep you posted as soon as we hear something. Now, if you have applied for an Australian student visa, we would love to hear from you in the comment section below. Please let us know when did you apply, and if you have got your visa already, when did you got your visa? And if you haven't got it, that's fine as well. You can put that in the comment section below. Now, as it is a tax time in Australia, and if you are planning to do your tax return by yourself, I highly recommend you to check one of our previous videos where we show you an example of completing a tax return. But if your tax return is a bit complicated and you need help with a tax agent, then we have got you sorted as well. So for this tax season, we have partnered with taxpack.com, and they are providing special prices to our followers only. And their special offer includes pricing starting from $99 onwards. If you want to get in touch with them, we'll put the link in the description for that as well. And if you're new to the channel, I highly recommend you to subscribe to the channel so that you keep getting these updates. And you're also welcome to join our Instagram family and Facebook group as well. We would love to have you over there. And as always, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.